Welcome to the show. I'm Danella, and here's what's happening now. Acid rain in America, that's what they say may happen. I'll tell you where in a moment. Now, you think you have it hard at work. Wait till you hear how it goes down in China. And now millennials, they're fed up and they're doing something about it. Also, in the show, in our world this week, we're still observing Mental Health Awareness Month, all month long in the month of May. And this week, we're going to talk about 3 active ways, okay, what you can do to improve your overall mental health. We'll get into that in just a moment, but first, it's Political Pop. Here is your Political Pop for Friday, May 11th. Lots happened this week. Trump freed 3 detainees in North Korea. He also said he's set to meet with the North Korean leader on June 12th. Now, with the new sanctions that have been imposed on Iran, and with Trump pulling us out of the Iran nuclear deal already, we're seeing it at the pump. In fact, for the first time since 2014, U.S. crude reached $70 a barrel. And the U.S. Energy Information Administration, they project that national gas prices are going to rise this summer, averaging $2.90 for regular gas. Well, how will this affect you? This is what they say you can expect. The average family can expect to pay $200 more than they paid this time last year. And how does that compare to 2016? Well, they say that it is $250 more. Another one of Trump's decisions hurting us in our pockets. I'm DanellaNOW, and that was your Political Pop. Now we'll head down to Hawaii. They're still dealing with an active volcano. They're saying that they can expect more eruptions and possibly acid rain. They're comparing the acid rain literally to battery acid. They're saying that the acid rain can accelerate rusting on metal objects like cars, also damaging plants. So they're not sure just yet if they're going to receive acid rain. But another thing that they're worried about is what they're calling VOG. Think volcano, smog, VOG. And the worry that they have is for infants, elderly folks, and anyone with respiratory issues. So dangerous situation there. So far, they're estimating that at least 36 structures have been destroyed. From Hawaii, let's keep going. We'll jump over to Mexico. Mexico is on track to surpass 30,000 murders this year. 30,000 murders. Now, this is even more than last year. Last year, they said their record high was 25,340 murders. Now, here's what sources are saying. They're saying that there's 3 reasons why they're seeing murders of this magnitude. First, a lot of the gang leaders have been arrested. And when that happens, gangs fraction, there's infighting, more murders. Also, what they're saying is gangs are switching from just drug trafficking to doing more kidnapping and extortion. And lastly, the reason that they're saying is that a lot of gangs are spreading to areas that don't have gangs, making those areas even more violent. And now let's head over to China. Seriously, how often do you go to work and you think, man, I have it hard? Why they treat me like this? These people are crazy. Come on. You know, you hear your friends say it, right? It's crazy. Well, listen to how it goes down in China. They're now fighting. When I say they, we're talking about millennials there. They're now fighting the 996 rule. What is the 996 rule? These cats have to work from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. 6 days a week. That's their work standard. Wait, what? Yes, it's out of control. And they're saying that this is widespread amongst Chinese companies. Could you imagine 9 a.m. to 9 p.m., six days a week? Yeah, well, the millennials are not having it. You know, they're young and they're like, this is crazy. Why are we doing this? So think about that Monday morning when you go into your job. Think about that. I don't care what day of the week it is, you're feeling stressed. Think, man, I could be in China working 9 a.m. to 9 p.m., 6 days a week. No, not going down. Now, before we get into In Our World, I wanted to bring up a situation that they're seeing happening in Puerto Rico. I did not know about this, but a lot of people are still recovering from Hurricane Maria there. And what they've noticed is there's a rise in suicide amongst the elderly. And these are people who think about elderly people, especially if you're retired. You may be used to going out and running errands, gardening, or seeing friends and family. And with so much destruction that has occurred there, it's forced a lot of the seniors to be trapped at home. Some of them don't have relatives checking up on them. Some of them just have neighbors. And what they're saying is they're seeing a spike in the elderly actually committing suicide. So still a lot of work to be done in Puerto Rico. And what authorities there are just urging anyone who is helping senior citizens, they're saying that you should educate yourself on warning signs of depression and warning signs of suicide. And now we'll head into In Our World. In Our World this week, we're talking about 3 active ways to improve your mental health. Now, I was doing some research on this and I saw this wonderful article on Huffington Post. They did about 14 things. So if you'd like to look up their article, you can. But what I wanted to do was highlight 3 of these things that I've personally used and have personally been very helpful for me. I'm going to say the obvious things that you should do, first of all, is, of course, this is outside of seeking therapy, because that's ultimately if you're dealing with something unmanageable, difficult, and you feel like you just cannot get out of it, of course, seek therapy. That's separate. With that in mind, that some of us are dealing with mental issues that aren't that severe, but make us feel down, make us feel sad, or just in a rut. And so I wanted to just mention something you can actively do that will improve your mental health. So I said outside of going to a therapist, I'm also going to add outside of meditation, because some people just don't meditate. I do. It's wonderful. If you don't, let's get into these 3 active things that are something you can literally get out and do right now. First, keep a positive support system. Now, this literally, I cannot say how important this is. And I still, in my friends, you hear people still having friendships with people that are not supportive of them. And I want you to think about that. Think about your life and really take note of who are your support systems. Who are these people? Where are these people? What do they offer you? And anyone that is in your life that is negative, bringing you down, hurtful, you really need to reevaluate that relationship, whether it be just friendships or even families. Because the truth is, we cannot control anybody else or how they think or how they act. All we can control are our response to that person and their access to us. So the first is, how will you respond to them? And then maybe creating boundaries for yourself. And I definitely want to encourage you to think about that, because I've done it myself, because you get into these relationships and you think, oh, we've been friends for all these years, and then this obligation, you stay in these very toxic relationships. And so if you find yourself talking to someone and every time you talk to them, you get off the phone and you feel mentally drained, reevaluate that relationship. If every time you hang out with that person, you feel bad about yourself, reevaluate that relationship. You cannot change them. You cannot make them into anyone else. All you can do is control your response to what they're doing, how they act, and their access to you. Now we're going to move on to number 2. Adopt an attitude of gratitude. Now, you've heard that before. I can tell you that it absolutely works. And the idea behind that is being thankful. I've talked about that on the show before. So I want to bring it up again. And that's that attitude of every single day being appreciative and being grateful for joys in your life. In fact, according to the article, they say that studies suggest that taking a moment to count your blessings can boost your happiness. And according to the article, they say this, that practicing gratitude has been demonstrated to help people manage stress, decrease depression, and increase empathy and decrease aggression. All great things. So be thankful you woke up. Be thankful for just the smallest things. If you're able to walk, if you're able to talk, see, listen, just truly appreciate joys in your life. And number 3, this one I love. I have done it for many years, and it has really brought me out of a lot of difficult times. And that is spend time in nature. Yes, go out in nature. And I'm totally a nature person. I love to just walk in the woods and hike. And it's so interesting because I do not like necessarily bugs. I know they're kind of hand in hand. I know it's kind of, and you should appreciate all life forms, but I'm just saying, yeah, that's the odd thing. But seriously, it's so beautiful, especially now the weather is breaking. You'll see, just get out in nature. And according to this article, they say whether you're outside gardening, pruning your bushes, or going for a hike in the forest, or even just sitting in a park, they advise you to sit and take in the peace and serenity. Admire the awe. Have gratitude. Be grateful for the awe that nature offers us. And so I wanted to throw these out there because, again, these are active things that you can literally physically do to, again, actually feel better. And I find for myself a lot of times, especially when I'm dealing with really emotional troubles, I can sometimes get stuck in my mind. And what has helped me to get out of my mind is physically putting my body into action. Whether it is experiencing love with family and friends, whether it is actively being in a state of gratitude and feeling love and thankfulness for the little things in life, the blessings in my life, or whether it is going for a hike and feeling the love that nature offers in the world. So let's get active. Remember, even if you're, looking at me and you think, oh, she's probably the happiest person in the world, I struggle to keep myself emotionally strong pretty often, dealing with emotional stress. So I can tell you that happiness is active. It's something that sometimes, especially when life gets really hard, you have to work at actively. And of course, again, if you're dealing with something heavier where you're trying these active activities and it's just not helping you to find peace, there is no shame in seeking help at all. There is no shame in talking to someone, to a therapist that can help you get your life back on track. So it is definitely important that we deal internally with our struggles. We work through them. And then actively, we do the work to improve our mental health. As always, we can stay connected by email, Danella@DanellaNOW.com, and on social media @DanellaNOW. As always, thank you so very much for joining the show. Have an incredible weekend, and I'll see you next week.